Hello, friends. Hi. Hello. Well, welcome to breakfast with all of you Tatarin. And today, as always, we have news waiting for us. From the world of great geniuses and small geniuses, the trends that are happening. What does this mean for us, and what can we do to make life better, more beautiful, and more interesting? Yes, my friends, and everything that follows from this. Well then. But let's start with the fact that in the Russian online cinema market, the subscription model has triumphed over advertising. What does this mean, my friends? So-called recurring payments have beaten advertising. We have finally arrived at recurring payments, my friends. So how does it work? You take a subscription and pay. This model, as we understand, gained great popularity, specifically within the company Apple. The number three, my friends, who remembers this idea when Apple first presented the notion that our devices are not just devices, they are a new philosophy. Be different, be unlike everyone else, something like that. Gained an army of fans and in fact created Apple Music, Apple Store, and many other things. A storage facility at all. So what's the idea? People should pay a little, but every month, an ideal model. And now in the news market, the subscription model of online cinemas has triumphed over advertising. This was once only possible for large corporations like Apple, but now any entrepreneur can do it. And if you are considering a sales funnel, it would be good to have what is called a flagship in your sales funnel. By the way, who is engaged in this? Well, generally speaking, instead of, just, as they say from theory also, doing something to earn money. Give me your feedback, my friends. Write who, because of the fact that it's just like making their eyes bulge, is doing something to earn money using online. Well, let me connect, my friends. 1, 2, please write, I am having lunch. Marian Mikrosova. Yes, Marian Mikrosova is not just anyone, my friends. She is a psychologist, one of the good psychologists. But this is a person who also has a lot of experience, my friends. And right now, we are in the midst of, remember, the movement called The Perfect Business in 21 Days. Works 20 minutes a day. And it's precisely in this movement of creating an online business that it's really cool and actually works. An understanding of how sales work. So, if we return to the model, it's quite beneficial if you have some kind of club model, like a flagship, where you lead people after the elite magnet. The number three, who understands what I'm talking about, and zero, who... Buddy, what is an elite magnet? Buddy, what the heck is this? Here. Okay? So it's good if you have a model where there is some kind of inexpensive and affordable club where people pay a small amount of money. If they are paying money, these are people who have moved away from the category of freeloaders, all those who seek freebies, and among those who voted with their money for the importance of certain changes, the importance of information, the importance of this community, and the importance of what people are doing. Because most people who sit on the fence and observe from the sidelines without contributing any resources are what is called classic subscribers. A subscriber is not a client. A subscriber can be a potential client, but not a couple. Because if a person has a defect in terms of understanding interaction, it means there is a defect. This is not a defect from a human perspective. It is a defect from the perspective of the money-making model. There is a stable model, rural, somewhat dull, and a bit cunning. He thinks that he can take everything from everyone, for example, while giving nothing in return. After a while, he becomes an outcast, and it is clear that he is needed by no one, because the most important idea is mutual exchange. If it is beneficial to others and provides something useful, then accordingly it is loved, respected, and so on. And if he thinks that he is so clever, he will only be pulling himself and giving nothing to anyone, while expecting to be loved. Such a person, like a kind of village fool, becomes an outcast, and most people, strangely enough, who, as you know, 8% of people in the world, have money problems. Here they are, like the cunning villagers, who only think about how to pull a fast one and get something for free. But did they get paid? You might ask, where did they get paid from and for what? But that doesn't concern us anymore. We needed social protections, social categories of payment, all this fuss. Well, it's a somewhat childish attitude towards money. It is cultivated all over the world. Put an 8 on top if you understand this problem. All over the world, this rather simple, somewhat cunning rural model is being multiplied, where people somehow obtain resources and money, and in exchange, well, basically, nothing. Or, for example, like, you give me a decent job. You to me, you all gather and give me a decent job. Give me a decent payment. Give me something worthy of all this. And the question is, what the hell, my dear person, did you even come up with this headline? Why on earth do we owe you anything? How is that right? I am a citizen, right? That's it. Am I a citizen or not? You owe me. Look over there, just like in the United Arab Emirates. As a citizen, I am entitled to everything. Well, something like that. And you might say there can't be that many foolish people left in the world. People have become much smarter. Oh no, my friends. Look around, and you will see that there is indeed in us, my friends, and in me, this somewhat dull-witted village trickster who occasionally stirs up to get something for free. Digital therapy, my friends, if it's clear, each of us has this fool inside, because as they say, we all come from childhood. So this is how it works, returning to the model that operates in online cinemas. And returning to childhood, right now I am having breakfast with you. Our morning gathering is all set. At this moment, my son is watching a movie. What movie is he watching, my friends? He is watching an anime. If someone is like me, old, you remember that in 1969 there was just a shock because Japanese anime hit the market. This was the first anime that made a huge splash in the Soviet Union at its time. This anime was called The Flying Ghost Ship. Who has watched it, my friends? Yagi Kromot, the messenger of the ghost ship, I bring death and destruction. Who remembers? Ah, my friends, we are not going to kindergarten yet. Because Andreevich was watching, Tatiana was watching. That's it. I was interested. I watched this movie. For the first time, just like Yaroslav, well, 6 years old, just like that. And I looked at it at the same time. And I think it's interesting. Will my son find it interesting to watch the anime that I personally watched 50 years ago after all the marvels? What do you think of this social experiment? Well, I think, damn, it might work, it might not. It might work, and it might not. What do you think, my friends? Did it work or not? So, what do you think? This cartoon is 50 years old. The correct answer is, it worked. It sits and watches. I think this doubt has now gripped his anime just like it once gripped me, but I had nothing to compare it to. There was neither Marvel nor comics like that. There was basically nothing. And then it was something incredible for me. This is still on the big screen. Wow. That is, yes, there is the cunning of the head of the corporation who played out this very story with the ship Bruiser and the Geobot. And now it sits and watches. 50 years have passed and it still works. So, friends, what I was indeed getting at with this conversation, it has been 50 years. Something well made, classical music, still works today. The number 3, my friends, if that is clear. Something well done works even now. Because the moments and triggers that were used, although now, 50 years later, the speed of information delivery has changed. Some moments have changed, but look, well-executed work still works today. In other words, human nature does not change. Some things related to presentations and other aspects do change, but well-executed work still functions effectively even now, 50 years later. For us, this is a kind of, well, an interesting moment. But what is this interesting moment? In the sense that if you study human nature and see how it works, it will work now. It has worked in the past, and it worked in the Roman Empire. or for example, it has worked for us, in a way, Genghis Khan and so on. In other words, eras change, everything changes, but some principles that work correctly always work. If you look at something large, something that has endured through the ages, and something global from the perspective of world history, you will always see that it was connected with discipline and self-discipline. The numbers 4 are there, clearly. With discipline and self-discipline, great people, great commanders, had the self-discipline that they were able to duplicate in discipline. For people took this discipline, but unfortunately, the trigger was fear. And the discipline that existed was indeed an external disciplining of people. Because as we started with 8% of people without money, for what reason? Because they are such village tricksters who buy. No, my friends, because they are raised in such a way that a person wants to be like a slacker, wants to do nothing, to be a freeloader, but at the same time receive everything. In other words, he would like to consume something without creating that something. Right, my friends? But that's not how life works. The only thing that can help a person achieve a lot is self-discipline. However, self-discipline. Here I am, a person who is engaged. In 1998, I became a member of the Scientific International Community. I was in Warsaw at that time. There were certainly certain events, that is, life itself indeed pushed me to create my team, my community. Because when the ground slips a little from under your feet, and the people you trust, the companies you trust, turn out to be liars and frauds, you have to find actually support in what you can control. The number 5, if that's clear. This was an event from 1998. I came to Poland for a short time because the company I was collaborating with promised to open a representative office. I went with 28 desperate leaders as well. And then, month by month, the commitment gradually faded to the point where, like, well, the little ones from this series, I promised that I wouldn't leave Poland until it opened up for people. Well, this word cost me 5 years of my life. I was stuck there, as they say, until the representative office opened, 5 years of my life. And I realized that you cannot promise what you do not influence. What is the achievement and control of other people? You cannot control them. Who understands the number 3? You can't control them, my friends, can't you? You can't, especially if you have neither the means nor the power to do so, nothing at all, but you can control yourself. The number 4, who understands such an idea. But you can control yourself. And if you can control yourself, and if you can use some technology that allows you to do what you have decided, then it will lead you to significant changes in life. You will achieve success. You will achieve great opportunities, because all the other people will be waiting for someone to come with a stick and start driving them away. The number 5, if it's clear. People expect that someone will come with a stick and drive them, showing them the bright kingdom of communism, socialism, capitalism, whatever you want, the road to Europe and so on. Someone, right? And they will be led there. This is how it always happens. And everyone else seems to sit and wait for someone smart, who knows better than they do, to fix their lives for the better. What are these people ultimately waiting for? They are waiting for their place in society to be pushed to the very bottom. For such is the price of not taking responsibility and not increasing what is called, my friends, self-discipline. Such is the reward. The number 6, my friends, if you understand the idea at all, the reward for people who want to be in relaxation and control nothing is that they are always waiting for someone to throw them, to poke them with a stick, to hit them on the head, or to give them a candy, and they end up becoming worthless people at the very bottom of the social pyramid. And finding themselves at the bottom of the social pyramid, they start singing tearful songs about how everything is unfair, that someone is stealing, while they are so unfortunate, they are so wonderful, and what should they do now? After all, I'm talking about my money, right? Here, time goes by, but nothing changes. 50 years have passed, and it seems that, yes, here we are in a free world, free. But nothing changes. People love to engage in nonsense. People love for someone to make decisions for them, and then they roll out problems, like, right, Like, who is to blame for this? Well, not them. That's not right. But in reality, the main secret of success is self-discipline. So, look, I have been selling knowledge for a very long time. Well, I don't know how much knowledge others sell. But in reality, it takes a very long time. And when it comes to a topic called self-discipline, do you think it is popular among the general public? For example, self-discipline. Oh, cool. The system of self-discipline. Oh, how I want to master it. I really like self-discipline. No, people don't like that. People prefer it without self-discipline. To get everything without hard work, and without anything for free in 3 hours, in half an hour, in 1 minute. Oh, we like that. Right. Yes, but that's impossible. What if... There must be some kind of mantra, right? Some sort of conspiracy, a whisper. Yes, my friends. And everything will just go along, right? Stay there. It should have been and everything better. No. People self-discipline, they are like, wow. Hey, self-discipline, no, thanks. What are you even talking about? What do you even want to say? What, do I not have money because of my own discipline, huh? No, I will never believe that. Phew, that's something, isn't it? Yes, my friends, I will never believe that. I believe, I don't believe. Yes, friends. All right, in general, people don't like self-discipline because it's not very appealing. They do not want to delve into the ideas of life. Here, a person who fulfills their obligations to others and maintains their reputation will in fact earn respect. A straight spheroid, people who keep their word in front of others and maintain their reputation will earn respect. A serious person, a person who keeps their word both to themselves and to others, first to themselves, and in the second case, they will achieve greatness. Do you see the difference? Respect and greatness. Well, the difference is significant, isn't it? Because people who only think about reputation, for them, the main thing is the external evaluator. Someone evaluates them, and they will indeed agree with you that they are good workers. And right away they dig up complaints, and right away they dig up something else. Who is to blame? But if a person, first of all, was able to understand what he wants, what life is unfolding in the script, where is he striving to go, and what needs to be done for that to happen, and first of all, start fulfilling your commitments to yourself and pave the way to greatness. However, most people run away from this as if it were fire. And this is the big problem. For example, right now, I am telling you the most important secret of success. It is self-discipline, prioritizing tasks, and keeping promises to oneself. How do all the freeloaders work? For example, those who have fallen into debt. Let me tell you how freeloaders who have fallen into debt operate. It is related to self-discipline. It is always related to self-discipline. As you know, there are 3 dead loops of debt. 3 dead loops. The first loop, my friends, the first loop is when a person overestimates their capabilities, falls into debt, and, to be honest, has no resources to pay off this debt. This person, as they say, is doing something, but understands that it is blocking him. This is the first deadlock. Sibragi, my friends, who understands the first deadlock. Why? Because the person is not experienced enough. He has overestimated his abilities, or he believed in some fairy tales, or he was deceived. But in any case, this person was not really in a sound state of mind to foresee certain opportunities and what is called self-management. His risk management didn't work. He might be a bit immature or overestimated his abilities like in his youth. Something went wrong with him. He was deceived. We deceived him. He fell into the first deadlock. He now has a debt. Stop. The credit. I was deceived. I am a poor, unfortunate. So now, what should I do? Help, dear people. Next, the second dead loop of credit. When a person borrows money to pay off the monthly interest, meaning they have a monthly payment and need to take out a loan to cover that monthly payment. That is, it distances the terrible end and exacerbates it. The second dead loop. What about the mortgage? Well, what about the mortgage? But you have a house. A mortgage is a great opportunity for a person who lacks self-discipline to gain external discipline. Just look at who understands. Galina asks an acquaintance, "And what about the mortgage? How does that work?" And the mortgage is exactly what I embody through life. So what does that mean? It means precisely these simple things. If a person lacks the discipline to earn money and have capital, they need to be made to work. How to make them work? You take out a mortgage. And then they will come accordingly. A person took a mortgage, and for the mortgage he pays, for example, if you took a mortgage, say, in some bank now, you will be paying approximately 35, 37, sometimes even 40% annually, as you remember. You start by taking a 2% preferential mortgage at 3.5%, but since you have to pay off a total of 15, the program calculates everything in the first few years, and you pay dynamic interest, primarily for 3 to 5 years, which is 35% per annum, right? 35% per year. What do you think, my friends? Is that a great rate? A good rate? Well, what a terrible percentage. What kind of scam is this? It's outright robbery. Robbery in broad daylight, right? But for a person who lacks self-discipline, this robbery is the only way to get, as they say, a supervisor over the bank, a collector, and with eyes wide open. They do everything in fear to pay for the mortgage, but they end up with an apartment for which they overpaid exactly twofold. The figure 4 understands that he will overpay for the apartment in any case, but he has an apartment. And who helped him with this? The bank helped him. The bank, to be honest, lured him in with a deceptive interest rate. Those who understand, my friends, know that this is pure fraud. Deliveries 16%. Deliveries 16%, that's great, right? Yes, 100%, you're absolutely right. Yes. If someone said, take a loan at 35, 37%, I would think, Slava, are you out of your mind? No way. What are you talking about? That means I have to pay you back money, and they would give me 16% annually, right? Plus, that's all from this. But will you take me for 37? Are you out of your mind or what? Robbers, scoundrels, villains? Yes, in my opinion, 16%. Well, 16 is still somewhat reasonable, right? But in my opinion, whoa, whoa, whoa. But the only opportunity for a lazy person without self-discipline to get a small apartment. What does the number 6 mean? For a lazy person without self-discipline, this is the only opportunity. Right. An opportunity. How to get an apartment. Otherwise, how will you get an apartment? Well, at least you'll see that I'm from the apartment. You live with me. And as they say, a drop for a passport, and you pay double the price, everyone is fine, right? And if you are from whom, and I've completely changed my mind about paying, well, they say thank you for your cooperation, now get out of the apartment. Why? Because whose property is this, my friends? Whose property is it? Come on, tell me. Whose property is it until you pay it off? Of course, it's the bank's property. You are, as they say, that very tenant who did some repairs there, that's all. No, what a person thinks about it. At that moment, while they are doing all of this, doesn't matter. And in fact, it's not their apartment, right? So what does it mean and what losses? A great thing for a person who lacks self-discipline is to acquire a small apartment and pay a high price for it. Friends, something for something, a good deal. A deal is only bad in one way, that it misleads people. Who understands? They mislead with fraudulent tricks. And this is fraud, and then they take advantage of it, right? But they buried his apartment, so we stopped at the second dead loop out of 3. Galina wanted to drag us aside. No, Galina, I will return. According to the narrative, the second dead loop. You are currently looking for a loan, hoping for a better future, to pay off an interest loan. Who understands why this is the second mercantile loop? That is, if you can somehow pay off one debt loop, it becomes difficult with the second one because you are taking something at an exorbitant interest rate that gives you the opportunity to secure this loan, but which, to be honest, doesn't really exist. What can help with this? This could be helped by a nuclear war. Boom, that's it. Everyone is done for. Someone survived. In general, all debts have disappeared somewhere, been written off, and so on. But, as they say, here is the way out of this now. Well, like to kill, like, yeah, the one who gave the crime. All these things like are illegal and have bad karma. There you go. Into the woods, as they say. Flesh. Well, and the third dead loop, actually. What thought is a person looking for at this moment? The third dead loop, it's the end for him, man. He doesn't think, and he still doesn't want to achieve self-discipline to do something every day in life. The number 3, for those who understand, does not have a strategy that allows them to become someone else every day. Right now, in the concept of the ideal business, I truly regret, I sincerely feel sorry for the people who did not join this training that is currently taking place on how to create the ideal business in 21 days. Without losing money, it works 20 minutes a day without exhausting labor. I genuinely feel sorry for deserving and good people whose cleverness in trying to avoid paying anyone has overcome their rational impulse, because this is shown very clearly here. If you pay yourself first every time, every day, by taking strategic actions that allow you to improve in terms of skills, values, and resources, including media, to gain targeted attention and learn to sell, you will start to increase your income, which will grow if you do your part of the work. You read this. Who understands? If you are doing your part of the work, the idea here again is the biggest problem. If you do your part of the work for yourself, when a person learns this, everything goes well for them. So, the third dead loop. The person realizes that they need a lot of money right now. And when he realizes that he needs money now, at this moment, he signs a paper for self-liquidation. The number 5, if it's clear, he signs a paper for self-liquidation. He is thinking about where he could quickly earn a lot of money. Notice that we will not change in order to become someone else, because everything I have is based on who I am. People don't think that way. The village fool never thinks like that. The village fool is such a fool that when people laugh at him, he thinks he is just doing incredibly funny things. People are laughing at him because he is a fool. But he's a fool. He doesn't get he's a fool. And in principle, that people laugh at him doesn't bring honor to those people, because they laugh at a colleague, a person who has no brains. But if it's 80% of people who think they have brains, and any fool believes they are smart, then it becomes, on one hand, more realistic, but no less offensive, because the people I have told this to, just like I am telling you now, have, they say, a reporting beginner, yeah, you are the fool, well, something like that. I say, I'm not arguing. I also sometimes finish off leftovers. As they say, we all come from childhood. Some ideas just pop up. Completely ridiculous, right? For example, for instance, yes. You look there and something, well, some crap, well, it's cheap. If you're paying attention, you're looking at some junk on sale. Some junk, but it's cheap. It really costs cheap. There you go. And you're like, oh, man, listen, it's cheap. Are you buying us? Well, go ahead. This is some kind of nonsense. Some crap, right? Here. Well, it costs cheap. And you bought this crap and now it's a part of your life. You could get the best quality of something, ranging from a drill to some kind of tool. But you essentially got crap because you absolutely paid less. You essentially got it for absolutely free. You take the crap that you bought cheaper, like you save money. Good job saving. Tony, now you have some money. Now go get some more crap, even cheaper crap. You're clever, right? And surround yourself with crap. And how will that change the quality of your life? How? Well, you're a man in trouble. That's how it will change. You played it well. Yes, my friend. Did you play it right? Super clever. Oh, these shoes are great, right? Look how cheap they are. It says they're leather. Leather. It says leather. Oh, I need to buy them. I got leather. It says eco leather. Well, Derma Heinrikovich. Damn, now I have to wear them. A person put on this crap and walks around in eco leather. Why? They bought it, so now they have to wear it, right? How did they save money, my friends? Oh, super save. Here you go, buddy. All right, but now how do I get that part of my life back so I don't have to wear crap, but can wear normal shoes? How? Oh, no way. Ha ha ha. Good job, right? Oh, awesome. Wow, that's something. Really? Yes, where can I get this recording? By the way, the recording will be available on VK, and I will leave this recording today on Telegram. If you want to do a good deed, let the people who matter to you see this breakfast. I made it especially today. It is highlighted by the main success. Well, we will also talk about the news today, briefly, because I want to dedicate my favorite part of the time to what is the main secret of success. So, the third loop, the most problematic one, is when people experience a mental block. People understand, even mentally, that it would be good to develop certain things to become valuable and so on. But they understand that when it will happen, who the hell knows, and they need money now. And they absolutely subscribe to everything, going all out because of money, definitely. The number 5, if that is clear, is due to the heavy burden of money. They are considering the possibility of going against their moral principles. To go against something in order to make money now, and as a rule, in life, there comes a temptation that challenges a person to act against their principles. I recalled ethical immorality. Because of money, you will get a lot. You will gain freedom. You will work everything off in one blow. What do you think the outcome is? The 3 dead loops always end the same way. The 3 dead loops always end the same way, and it always ends with a person reaching their end. They put a cross on themselves, stop credit, they sit there, then they don't stick their neck out. They are bankrupt. Awaits a lot. Awaits a second right to life. Or he ends up in jail because he is offered dubious ideas related to fraud. He starts getting into cryptocurrency, on which he has a large part of his money. He has probably made a significant profit over the year. He was nobody and became everybody, just like in that song. Those who were nobody became themselves or in crypto. Can you imagine? Know what token? Tokens are a derivative of modern digital gold. The word gold refers to Bitcoin, you understand, right? But Bitcoin is already everything. Everything is about Bitcoin, right? Its magic has become expensive now. Altcoin, you understand, right? The main thing is to invest well, and then it will be a blast, right? But for that, you need to take out another loan. I understand you, my friends. Elzy Gafarova writes about how right I was to attend the hard training. 45 achievements is a salvation. 45 achievements allow a person to acquire this main skill of achievement, as Elza correctly wrote, which is actually not difficult. These are simple things that a person does every day to regain their power, to regain the blessing that has been within him since birth, because there is a piece of God in him. For those who do not believe in God, a piece of life, say what you want, that allows him to choose what to do, and then he can acquire that very skill that will change his entire life. But this is a chance to get something. The people, for the most part, what? They won't get anything, right? Because we all know this, right? We all know this, right? And, well, that's it. We know, right? It's clear, probably figured it out. We know this, and that's all, right? We all know, that's us. We all know this, yes. So, what's going on with your life? Well, what's going on with my life? It's not that simple. Oh, this helicopter window is opening. Phew, it's not that simple, right? And what? Well, you know how it is in this life. It's easy to say, but it's difficult when a person pulls out their long tongue and starts babbling left and right. Here, There's no point in just talking. We need to take action every day. It's not enough to just say it. It's difficult when a person pulls out their long tongue and starts rambling left and right. But here, there's no point in rambling. Action is needed. Having a small strategy to avoid increasing and, under no circumstances, to create new enemies for oneself accordingly from the perspective of subcorporeal structures. Because if you have gotten yourself into problems there, due to foolishness, desire, and so on, or because you are using willpower to force yourself to do what needs to be done, then a person has really gotten into big trouble. Okay, friends, in general, you heard me. There is a way out. It is about acquiring the skill of achievements that is not related to how hard you push your will. Pedaling will create resistance in the body. For example, in Tula, there was a legendary coach named Crater Moiseev. A very painful uncle, genius in this regard, got cancer. What do you think? Why did he get cancer? There are many reasons, of course, but one of them is precisely the emphasis on willpower. Because for karate practitioners, willpower is the most important thing. Will that overcomes everything. Right now, in this so-called ghostly flying ship that my son just waved at, you can trace this samurai theme, moving forward against all odds, with will driving it ahead. Will is not the following of natural instincts. The body of the structure is always accordingly, seemingly under the influence of its, as they say, spirit. But the accumulated resistance accumulates. The body first communicates through minor illnesses, through some little problem saying, buddy, this is life, buddy. This is the gift of life. You are currently violating the laws of life. And a person stubbornly resists, and eventually ends up catching some illness due to this excessive resistance. When he climbed into the credit of life and spent everything that was given to him. Yes, my friends, in China it is called, by the way, trinal energy. And where is it located? Well, who is reasonable, let's say? Well, they give something like energy. Historically minded people talk about the robot, and the place where it is located, well, who do we have there? The Chinese. Let's take, for example, our settled Libya, where, well, there are plenty of Chinese things here. In the kidneys, yes. In the pillars, no. In the kidneys and on the adrenal gland. In the columns, there are only those very sensitive parts that are connected to the adrenal gland. There is one part that is replenishable with energy in the kidneys, yes, and in the adrenal gland. And another part of the natal energy comes from the lineage. Whatever was received at conception is what exists. You embrace again. But whatever was there at conception is what remains. There is no more, as if, and when a person starts to peddle this will, and tries to overcome all external efforts solely with will, they expend it. They expend. And if this person is strong, and can pull from that energy, because he has spent all of his future generations, will wipe him out completely. Look at who understands. I mean, it's so powerful when some guy or some woman is so incredibly stupid and clueless that life has to show them right behind their neck, like, what the heck, this is not the way. And still they say, well, I'm going to do affirmations. I won't give up anyway. And he says, well, damn, it looks like we won't come to an agreement. Now he's going to start pulling energy from the kids, from the future, like, yeah, well, forget it, not with me. An incurable disease, we wipe it out, like, yeah, it's done. And then whatever physical, like what diagnosis a person gets, that's also, well, it's a matter of making a living. What for? For the fact that the main secret of success, my friends, is the ability to find balance, to primarily follow through on the decisions you make for yourself, but to ensure that these decisions do not lead you into conflicts with nature. Because if someone does not believe in God, they write this instead of God, life or nature, then for a non-believer, this is God. It's like the same thing. Right, well, in general, my friends, it's been 42 minutes. Hour, as they say, breakfast is coming to an end, and I can't help but mention the news. So, what news is there in the world? In general, once again, nothing is happening. Pay attention to the Russian stock market, where sales are taking place. These are not individual recommendations, but if you start gradually now, especially with those good blue chips from serious companies, and begin to invest little by little, you will thank her later, gradually. Because the Libyan share of the collapse has already occurred, some assets have decreased in value by up to 70%. Prices have dropped by 70%, and they might drop even more, perhaps another 10% down. So, be careful. Take it step by step if you decide to buy more, as they say. Yes, not with borrowed money, but with your own. Then, accordingly, later, when the market turns around, and it will turn around, I think, after the 13th, but I don't know how it will be. The future is uncertain. In any case, there will be growth. It just doesn't happen otherwise. If it's not a nuclear war, and a nuclear war won't happen with me, finally, there will be, and then the improvement of your situation will begin. It is not an individual recommendation, yes. Well, as they say, economically everything is still in place. The Third World War has not started. If it has started, then no one sees it yet. Geopolitics is turbulent. In general, everything remains as it was. This has been going on for a long time. So, as they say, what will end, but life goes on, so do everything you can for this very life, starting with a piece of life within yourself. There is a tool called 45 Achievements for this. Pay attention to it, especially those who consider themselves smart, especially smart, incredibly savvy, and so on. And this video will be available both on VK and on Telegram. Share it. Provide a link to it, so that those people who matter to you can take a look and avoid making tragically harsh and pointless mistakes. Well, friends, that's all for today. All the best and see you next time.